Have you ever noticed that the louder you scream, the less they listen? Think about the last time you got into a heated argument. Maybe your heart started racing, your voice cracked, and you felt that desperate need to prove you were right. You threw facts at them, you used logic, you raised your voice. And what happened? Did they bow down and say, "You are right, I apologize"? No, they dug their heels in deeper. You both left angry, drained, and resentful. Here is the brutal truth that most men learn too late. You cannot win an argument by arguing. The moment you lose your composure, you have already lost the battle. But the Stoics, the emperors and philosophers of Rome, they knew a secret. They knew how to dominate a conflict without raising their voice. They knew how to destroy an opponent's ego, not with shouting, but with something far more terrifying: silence and precision. Today, on INVICTUS X, we are not teaching you how to fight. We are teaching you how to win before the fight even begins. Here are 7 Stoic strategies to dismantle any conflict without saying a word. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor of Rome, dealt with betrayal, incompetent generals, and argumentative senators daily. If anyone had a right to scream, it was him. Yet he wrote to himself, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." When you argue, you lower yourself to the level of the person attacking you. You step into the mud. You signal that their opinion holds value over your emotional state. To become truly indomitable, you must shift your goal. Your goal is no longer to convince them. Your goal is to maintain your own internal fortress. When you stop trying to control their mind, you gain total control over the situation. Let's break down how to apply this. Strategy number 1, the pause of power, the Stoic Gap. The first step is the hardest, but it is where 90% of conflicts are won. It is called the Stoic Gap. When someone insults you or challenges you, your biology screams at you to react. It's the fight or flight response. A weak man reacts immediately. He is a puppet, and the other person pulls his strings. The Stoic does something different. He pauses. Epictetus said, "Be not swept off your feet by the vividness of the impression, but say, 'Wait a bit, let me see who you are and what you represent.'" Next time someone tries to provoke you, do not speak for 3 full seconds. Look them in the eye. Breathe. In that silence, you strip away their momentum. They expect resistance. Instead, they hit empty air. You are signaling that you are not threatened, and you are thinking before you speak. This pause establishes dominance instantly. Strategy number 2, the Socratic Mirror. Once you have paused, do not counterattack. Instead, hold up a mirror. Most arguments are fueled by vague accusations and emotional outbursts. "You never listen to me," or "This idea is stupid." If you defend yourself, you validate their attack. Instead, use the Socratic method. Ask a clarifying question. Simply ask, "What exactly do you mean by that?" Or, "Can you explain specifically why you feel that way?" This forces them to move from their emotional brain to their logical brain. Usually they can't. They will stumble. They will stutter. By asking questions instead of making statements, you are no longer the target. You become the judge. You are making them do the work while you save your energy. Strategy number 3, agree with the truth, the fogging technique. Seneca famously said, "If what they say is true, correct yourself. If it is a lie, laugh at it." In the heat of conflict, your opponent will often mix lies with small truths. They might say, "You're arrogant and you didn't finish the project on time." The weak man argues about the arrogance. The Invictus man admits the fact. Look them in the eye and say, "You're right, I didn't finish the project on time." And then stop talking. This is called fogging. Imagine punching a fog bank. You cannot hurt it. It absorbs the blow and remains. When you agree with the valid part of their criticism, you disarm them completely. They have prepared for a fight, but you just agreed. They have nowhere left to go. You have stolen their ammunition. Strategy number 4, decode the emotion, the view from above. Often, the argument is not about the topic at hand. The argument is a disguise for a hidden emotion. A coworker yelling about a deadline might actually be terrified of losing their job. A partner screaming about the dishes might actually be feeling neglected. A Stoic uses the view from above. Zoom out, detach yourself from the insults, and look at the human being in front of you. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that people act out of ignorance, not evil. When you see their anger as a symptom of their own suffering, you stop taking it personally. You stop being a victim and start being a doctor. You don't argue with a patient screaming in pain. You observe them. When you look at them with pity rather than anger, you become untouchable.
Strategy number 5, the power of I statements. If you must speak, never use the word you. You are wrong. You always do this. You don't understand. You is an accusation. It triggers the ego defense mechanism. The Stoic takes responsibility for his own perception. Shift your language to I. I see it differently. I don't think that is the best path forward. By speaking only of your own perspective, you make your position unassailable. They cannot argue with how you see the world because it is your internal reality. This allows you to stand your ground firmly without crossing into their territory. It is a boundary that says, I am master of my mind, and you are not invited in unless I allow it. Strategy number 6, the ultimate weapon, silence. Sometimes the most powerful argument is the one you never make. There are people who are committed to misunderstanding you. There are people who feed on drama. For these people, the Stoic response is absolute silence. Not the silence of sulking, but the silence of indifference. As the great swordsman Miyamoto Musashi, who shared much with Stoic philosophy, knew, there is no need to strike an enemy who is already defeating themselves. If the conversation is circular, if the disrespect is intentional, simply disengage, end the conversation, walk away. By withdrawing your attention, you remove the oxygen from the fire. You demonstrate that your peace of mind is more valuable than their need for attention. This is the ultimate display of high value. The next time chaos knocks at your door, remember this. The strong man does not need to shout to prove his strength. A lion does not roar at a dog. It simply ignores it. To win every conflict, you must conquer the conflict within yourself first. Master your pulse, master your tongue, and master the silence. When you no longer need to win the argument, you will find that you have already won the war. If you are ready to build an indomitable mind and take control of your destiny, you are in the right place. Subscribe to INVICTUS X, turn on notifications, join the few who choose wisdom over noise. Until next time, stay strong, stay stoic.